Hey, what's up, you guys? My name's Josh. Welcome back to another toy review, and today we're here to take a look at the Ultra Monster 500 series number 4, Zaragas. First appearing in Ultraman of around 1966, he first appeared in episode 36, Don't Shoot Arashi. And the episode basically, it's your average, monster destroys building situation, whatever. The usual. The only difference is that one of the characters, Arashi, he tries to intercept and save the people, but almost gets himself killed. And long story short, the captain didn't really like that. He was like, "You're fired. You're no longer part of the science patrol." And eventually by the end of the episode, he does get his job back. But that's pretty much the synopsis for the episode. I mean, the kaiju itself is pretty interesting for what it is. He's quite the chunky boy, as you can see. So before we take a look at the figure, let's look at the tag. Yep, this is one of the more older figures. This toy came out in 2013, and of course, this is number 4. He's a pretty old figure. And, let me fix my camera a little bit. There we go. Yeah. So, I like to mention too that because this figure is pretty old, this is actually a re-release, meaning this figure, came out pretty recent. I can't really say exactly when he came out recently. The only reason I know that is because you didn't really had all this going on the tag, all these wording, I'm sorry. He didn't had this going on. Everything else is pretty much the same, though. I think even the picture itself is the same. That's him attacking the Children's Foundation building. I believe that's what it's called. I don't remember too much. All I can remember is how ridiculous the building looked, and you can obviously see in the picture that's what he's attacking. So, without further ado, let's take a look at the figure itself. The painting and sculpting of this figure is pretty good, I mean, I can't really complain. He got most of the important details, hands down. And yeah, honestly, I have to talk a little bit about his design because despite him being such a huge threat, he's such a goofy looking kaiju. When you look at it from the side, I mean, it's fine, It kind of gives you that weird kind of dinosaur sort of eel type look. I don't know, but it's like when you look at him from like face view, oh jeez, that's just goofy. I don't know about you guys, but this design. This is supposed to be intimidating. I mean, for 1966, I guess this is intimidating. You know how hard it was to make these suits back in the day? And look how nice and fat he is. I mean, don't get me wrong. Gamora and Red King, they're kind of like that too. But I don't know. It's just him. Especially with all these wrinkles too within the designs. I do love the silver paint in the back too. Yes, that's such a shocker. They actually painted the back of the figure for once. That's funny. I mean, this is an older figure, this was when they actually put in a little bit more effort. That's not to say that they don't put effort into newer figures. They do, but with varying quality. But what I do like is that this figure does have a lot of good paint going on. You see you got the red dots on his, I don't even know what you want to call them. Do I really call them nipples? I don't know. I mean, he does shoot from them, I guess. And in case you're wondering, does he shoot from the back too? To be honest, I don't remember because I know in the episode, I'm pretty sure he did fire from him. I know like in like later appearances, like in Ultraman Ginga and all that, I know he can grow like giant spikes out of his back or so. That's what he kind of uses to defend himself. But besides that, that's all he pretty much does. Another thing to kind of also talk about too is his fingernails and his toes are actually painted like a kind of dark brown, which is pretty good. It definitely complements the figure too, because it's like the coloring of the figure kind of varies. So you'll notice how it kind of goes from a slightly, it kind of pops, but then we kind of go a little bit dark, and then it kind of we get this pretty decent light brown color, because the figure is mostly made up of a very dark brown, almost like cocoa brown sort of. And then of course we can't forget those luxurious lips. Like, look at that. Unfortunately, the teeth aren't really painted, but I guess, I don't know. I mean, maybe, well, from far away you don't really notice it, but and his eyes, at least he has that nice intimidating look, so that's pretty good. Kind of reminds me of Gubula a little bit, just a little bit though. And then of course we got the horn, which is just painted like a straight yellow, no detailing or anything. I'm pretty sure that's just how it is. I'm just saying. I just think that's funny, you know? It's like, I don't even know, like a mustard yellow, sort of. Not even. I guess kind of an ivory yellow, but like more deepened. I'm not sure because ivory yellow is slightly more brighter, but not exactly. I guess if you want to say it's gold, I'm not really sure how it's supposed to be in the show. I mean, most of these figures are pretty show accurate, so that's pretty good. And I want to look at them from the side too because I like a lot of the interesting aspects within the details. And I do apologize that my camera's kind of acting up today, so I'm gonna try and stay as still as possible. You can kind of see some of the lines, some of the wrinkles. Oh, and I forgot to talk about his tail too. You see, his tail also got that kind of that thing going on. It's just not painted. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be. I just thought I mentioned that because you know you can clearly see the detail. His tail kind of looks like a turd. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm not saying that to be gross. I'm just saying. It's a decently designed figure, at least. So let's go over the articulation. So the figure has 4 points of articulation. He could move the head, a full 360. Honestly, that just shows how ridiculous his head is. I mean, come on, like the design. Look at that. You can't tell me that that's not meme worthy. I mean, whatever. Let's get back to the review, right? So you can move his head all the way. His arms can move. It can move at least this far. He's kind of have like a oh no kind of look. That's kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. His tail can move. Yeah, 360. There you go. Yeah, you can definitely do that. Here we go. A little bit tough, but not that much. It's pretty good. And it looks like the waist can move, but for you know, he has that weird thing going on where he's kind of glued together, so you cannot move the waist like at all. He's not the only figure to suffer from that problem. I know Red King has that. Zedon, I think he has that too. Yeah, Zedon also has that same problem. Saint Tesladon, yeah, he also has that too, but at least with his, it's pretty obvious that you're not supposed to move it. And I'll of course give you a little example. So here's a little two little brothers all together. I mean, they're not really brothers, but I don't know. They're designed. They do share a somewhat similar design, but not really. I mean, his is more of a puffy. You know, it's almost like when they were making the suit for him. It's not even. It's less of a suit, but more like one of those weird ones where you gotta like pump air into them. I don't know. That's what Tesla Don reminds me of. What I mean is that he has like that weird kind of line thing going on, like the seam. But at least with his, it's not so bad. It's not that noticeable. But obviously, with figures like him and Red King, you know what? Maybe it's good if I bring him out, just do a comparison. You know, see, he has that thing going on where it looks like he might be able to move it, but you can't. I thought I'd let you guys know just in case if you want to experiment for whatever reason, because I mean, I don't blame you. These are cool toys, you know? I mean, despite their minimum articulation, that's kind of how they are because they're part of a type of toys like vinyls where they don't really have a lot of articulation, but some pretty decent detail. And I guess before we wrap it up, another cool thing I want to mention too is that I remember the same day I got Zaragas, it's the same day I got Bemular. And I already did a review of him, so if you want to go check him out, he's in my playlist of Ultra I forgot what the name was exactly, but you'll find it if you go look around in my channel. If you know, if not, I'll definitely share it in my community tab as well, you know, because it's cool to get more monsters based off of the original Ultraman shows. And I keep wanting to say the original, but obviously you can't forget about Ultra Q either. So just thought I'd give you a little bit of a look to it. See the different textures too, which I love very much. You know, it's great to see how you could just spot all these different types of details and all that. You know, his definitely got like that kind of like bumpy, you know, kind of spike going on. Where he definitely, I don't want to call it bionic, but that's what this reminds me of. I don't know, like this kind of metal thing going on. All I'm gonna say is, what kind of messed up dinosaur is this? I mean, that's what he's supposed to be, but not exactly. That's what most of the kaijus are anyway, so, you know, it is what it is. Ultraman is a pretty weird show as it is, you know? But still going strong. Speaking of strong, here he is compared to the hero himself. Oops. Yeah, I deeply apologize for that. So here's a bit of a comparison with his size. Obviously, Zaragas, he's supposed to be much more bigger, but, you know, it is what it is. I can't complain, really. I mean, it's a good figure. I just wish the sizing was a little accurate because Ultraman is on the taller side, you know? I guess it kind of makes sense, especially for characters like Naranga, where he's supposed to be kind of short, even though he's mostly supposed to be a little long, but that's okay. And also, I gotta compare the two real quick because I had to keep rehearsing myself because for some odd reason I kept getting the two confused. I keep calling him Niranga, but this is Niranga. So, okay, here's a comparison, I guess. And yes, I already did a review of him, so if you want to go check that out, that's okay. And I guess the last one that I'm gonna show you guys, it's our next toy that we're gonna review. It's Zedon. Yeah, there we go. Yep, so that's about it, guys. So it's a pretty good figure. I like it a lot, you know, and I give it a why not? I give it a 10 out of 10. I think it's pretty good, you know. Listen, it's not every day I give these figures 10 out of 10s, all right? It's pretty good for what he is, you know, and the detailing and the paint, it's superb, you know? It's great, you know? It's not hard to see why this figure is a little bit hard to come by. Like I mentioned, he did got re-released some time back, but that doesn't mean that he's going to be cheap. You're still going to be paying a pretty penny for it because these are Japanese toys. You ain't going to get these in the US. Nah, unless you go to like some sort of special store like Toy Tokyo in New York, which they might have them, but that's only an if, you know? Get it? Marvel's what if. Anyway, I'm not funny. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the toy review. You know, leave a like and subscribe as always, you know? Or dislike the video if you dislike it, you know? And yep, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.